Good afternoon. Thank you for logging in today for News at 2. This week we are acknowledging National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week, and we'll each be sharing a different fact with you throughout our broadcast. If this is a topic that may be upsetting to you or a little triggering, feel free to join us next week. This began in 2010 by the National Institute on Drug Abuse to educate communities about the myths of drugs and alcohol that teens get from social media, TV, music, movies, or even friends. It was started to help with encouraging those open conversations with adolescents. So, did you know that caffeinated drinks have been around since the late 1990s? And their caffeine content can range from 50 milligrams to 500 milligrams per serving. So to give some perspective, an 8-ounce cup of coffee has about 100 milligrams of caffeine. This is important to note because the highest rate of use in the United States is among teens. Also, today in our news brief, we will be finishing up Women's History Month with another story about a historical NAMI figure and a local woman integrating some different therapeutic methods. But before we get to all that, Ashley is going to give us some updated program information.
Hello, hello.
I'm excited to hear what you have to share with us.
Yes, we have tons coming up. All right, so we next week are starting our Family to Family class. Family to Family is an educational course for family members, caregivers, and other friends of individuals living with mental health conditions. Our next class starts Monday, March 29th, and there's still time to register, so make sure to visit our website. I'm also excited to share our next mental health first aid class, which will be on Wednesday, April 28th and Thursday, April 29th. The class teaches a 5-step action plan to offer the initial help to people with the signs and symptoms of mental health condition or in crisis. It includes self-paced pre-work and a 5.5-hour instructor-led course. You will need to attend both days to complete the course. For people living with a mental health condition, we're hosting our peer-to-peer class. This class helps individuals understand themselves and their recovery. The class begins Monday, May 3rd. Finally, I'd like to share information about our next Education Series event, scheduled for Wednesday, May 19th. We'll be discussing planning for the financial future of individuals living with mental health conditions, such as stable accounts and estate planning. As part of Drug and Alcohol Facts Week, I'm going to share some information about vaping. This information is from the Behavioral Health Barometer Wood County 2020 report. Vaping typically delivers nicotine, a harmful drug, to the youth brain and body. Teens are particularly vulnerable to the effects of nicotine since the brain is still developing during these years. In Wood County, 1 in 4 12th graders vapes. This is a 60% increase from 2018. Another important topic I'd like to discuss as part of Drug and Alcohol Facts Week is gambling and gaming. Gambling is a behavioral addiction and impacts the same or similar parts of the brain as substances. According, again, to that Behavioral Health Barometer Wood County 2020 report, 38% of 6th graders in Wood County game for 2 hours or more daily. How does this relate to problem gambling? Change the Game Ohio is a campaign to raise awareness about youth gambling and gaming. Their website explains that many video games and apps designed for youth mimic gambling. This can include things such as loot boxes and spin to win. These games stimulate the brain in similar ways to the experience of gambling. To learn more about youth gambling and gaming, visit Change the Game Ohio website, which will be linked in the comments. So I'm glad to share some facts as part of Drug and Alcohol Fact Week and our upcoming events.
Yeah, thanks you. Thanks for all of those updates, you. But anyway, we hope to see some of you logged in tonight. Thanks, Ashley. That historical NAMI lady that advocated for change? Well, Bree is going to share that story now. Hi, Bree.
Hi, Jessica. Like Jessica said, I'm going to continue with our Women's History Month discussion. So today we're going to talk about Dorothea Dix. Dorothea Dix was an early 19th century activist who drastically changed the medical field during her lifetime. She championed causes for both the mentally ill and indigenous populations. By doing this work, she openly challenged 19th century notions of reform and illness. Additionally, Dix helped recruit nurses for the Union Army during the Civil War. As a result, she transformed the field of nursing. As a helping professional, I am thankful for inspiring women like her. In reference to National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week, I also am going to share some facts about alcohol from the Behavioral Health Barometer for Wood County Youth for 2020. Last year, annual alcohol use increased by 6% among 12th graders, the first increase seen in 8 years. Binge drinking within 30 days of this survey had also increased in grades 8, 10, and 12. For more information on teen alcohol abuse and treatment, please utilize the link in the comments to alcohol.org. That's all for this week's Did You Know?
Thank you for discussing adolescent alcohol use, Bree.
Absolutely.
And you know what? We really could use some more Dorothea Dix in our society today. Would you agree?
Without a doubt. Absolutely.
Up next, Courtney is going to share that story about a local woman with her different therapeutic strategies. Hi, Courtney.
Hey. So like Jessica said, for Mental Health in the News, I'll be sharing a story about a local professor in musicology at BGSU who shared recently her change in career coming up after her retirement. Currently, Dr. Mary Natvig is pursuing a master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. While she does have her PhD in musicology, it is only 2 years away from retirement. She has seen many students struggle with mental health disorders over the years working at the university. She explains she thought that disclosing would help them, and she has often thought herself taking them to the counseling center on campus. This caused her to do more research on mental health among musicians, and she found out that mental health issues are actually common among musicians. Dr. Natvig explains that she has had depression and anxiety, or she has seen depression and anxiety among music students at BGSU, and she also discloses in the article that she has had depression since she was young. Dr. Natvig is clear with her current students that she is a student in mental health counseling now, and she is careful to let her students understand that she isn't quite yet a licensed therapist. If you'd like to read more about this article, you can check out the comments below for the link. So for National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week, I wanted to share some information on marijuana use. So according to the Wood County Youth Survey in 2020 that both Bree and Ashley reference, approximately 25% of high school seniors in Wood County use marijuana in the last year. According to a report, this is due to marijuana being perceived as a, quote, less harmful drug, and it has been found to be, quote, more peer approval in the last years. It's important to remember, too, when talking to teens about substance use, it is best to have an open back and forth conversation with them, and to reiterate the importance of substances interfering with the things that they may find important. That is all for Mental Health in the News from me. Back to you, Jessica.
Thanks, Courtney. I'm really intrigued with Dr. Natvig's plans.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Well, thank you. Up last but not least, Shari is embracing National Drug Facts Week. Hi.
Hi. Good afternoon. Today I'm going to be talking about heroin, what it is, how it affects the body, such as the long-term effects and short-term effects, and how heroin is linked to prescription drug misuse, and what can be done for a heroin overdose and the treatments for heroin use disorder. Heroin is a highly addictive drug processed from morphine. It is typically sold as a white or brownish powder. Highly pure heroin can be snorted or smoked. Impure heroin is dissolved, diluted, and injected. Heroin binds to and activates specific receptors in our brain called mu-opioid receptors, or MOREs. Our bodies contain naturally occurring chemicals called neurotransmitters. The neurotransmitters bind to these receptors throughout the brain and body to regulate our pain, hormone release, and feelings of well-being. Once heroin enters the brain, it is converted to morphine, giving a surge of pleasure feeling or a rush. The rush is usually accompanied by a warm flushing of the skin, dry mouth, and heavy feeling of the extremities. Nausea, vomiting, and severe itching may also occur. After the initial effects, the user will be drowsy for several hours, mental function is clouded, and breathing is severely slowed. The slow breathing can lead to coma and permanent brain damage. The repeated use changes the physical structure and physiology of the brain. Withdrawal can occur within hours, causing restlessness, muscle and bone pain, insomnia, diarrhea, vomiting, cold flashes with goosebumps, and leg movements. Heroin is extremely addictive no matter how it is administered. Opioid medications, when these drugs are not, such as oxycodone, Vicodin, and Demerol, when these drugs are not taken in the amounts and ways intended by the doctors, the results can be severe. Misuse of these medications may open the door to heroin use. An overdose of heroin is dangerous and deadly. It depresses the heart rate and breathing to such an extent a user cannot survive without medical help. Treatments for heroin use disorder are available. They include both behavioral and pharmacological treatments. Both approaches help to restore the degree of normalcy to brain function and behavior. Pharmacological treatment is safe and includes 3 different types of medications: a slow-acting opioid agonist, a partial opioid agonist, and an opioid antagonist. Behavioral therapies can be outpatient and residential settings. Cognitive behavioral therapy modify the patient's expectations and behaviors related to drug use. Most importantly, there is help, and the treatment approached will be unique to each different individual patient. Thank you, and back to you, Jessica.
Thanks, Shari. And thank you for discussing this topic. I do not think many people truly understand the biology behind addiction. So in the links below is a guide from the Addiction Task Force for treatment options and other supports. And you can also call 211. So that's all we have for today. Thank you for watching. We hope you have a nice Tuesday, and join us next Tuesday. So until next week.